Yeah, right. But anyway, we're gonna move on to the NBA now. Enough football. It's time to talk some hoops, and we might as well do that. And tanking, tanking. The NBA got some problems, and we got to solve them. So, is the NBA tanking ruining the sport? As I pull up this graphic that I want to put up here, I'm gonna begin with that one because I got a lot to get off here. I'm gonna make sure it's not too long though. Tanking is one of the many issues hurting the NBA right now. A couple nights ago, we witnessed the current state of the NBA in a nutshell, right? Negatively. The Jazz, they held a 7-point lead entering the fourth quarter against Orlando. They pulled out four of their guys, four of their starters to hit the bench before the fourth quarter began as the Magic went on to win. Then obviously the Wizards, they traded for Trae Young, Anthony Davis with no real intention of playing these guys. Brooklyn they look ready to pack it up. Memphis been trading away and offloading their stars. Right now, what we have is a tankathon right now, and it's undermining the parity that we thought that the NBA had going into the season. Because everybody told me, and we looked at it, parity, right? The NBA got parity. But when half of the league is tanking, to me, that's undermining the middle class of the NBA. It's almost like the world that we live in. There's the upper class and there's the lower class. There's no middle class. Damian Lillard, this guy ain't played ball all year long. All of a sudden, he coming out the woodworks. He's going to be in the three-point shooting contest. Like, what are we doing? This is clown basketball that we are witnessing here, and it falls at the feet of Adam Silver. Because one could argue that Adam Silver has done what he can to incentivize winning, flattening the lottery odds, the creation of the in-season and playing tournament. But he has done everything but this one thing that's going to change the game. He doesn't want to do it because it's not going to make him money. But guess what? You have to do it, which is shorten the regular season, okay? This is the solution that's going to give the regular season more value by shortening it. And even if it doesn't outrightly help tanking, it would help a lot more issues that the NBA has, because right now Adam Silver's calling my phone. Leave me alone. I'm cooking, okay? Because one issue that the NBA have is not only tanking, it's a plethora of issues. It's load management, right? That would help load management. Folks, we are yet to play a third of the NBA schedule, and yet we have about 7 teams that's ready to throw in the towel. How is this good for the league? Explain it to me. The mic is y'all's. Lee, if you want to begin.
Yeah, let me say this though, Leel, and you make some good points. I'm not a proponent of tanking. I think it cheapens when you're in the arena, right? When you're in the arena, it cheapens the product, right? So I'm not a proponent of tanking, but let's look at the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, right? And hey, NBA television viewership is up 18%. It's up 18%, right? That's the highest jump in 15 years, right? It's a total viewership. Over 87 million people in the U.S. watch national games by late December 2025, up 89% from the previous year. See, what we see with the NBA, because there's more media involved with Amazon and Prime and Net, and all these different streaming services, more viewership, more eyes on them, and they're strategically putting the same teams on all the time. So we don't see the teams that are tanking. We don't see them on TV. What they do is they play the Lakers, they play the Warriors, they play the Knicks, they play, Philly. They use the big market teams across all of the media platforms, and that's why the viewership is up. It's very smart. And then they have more broadcast partners. So the actual product, as far as viewership, has increased. Now, the on-court product, to your point, Leel, is bad. And when you go to the arena, and to your point about the Jazz the other night, they're leading the game and they set their starters down. That's disrespectful to the people that are in the stadium. But what they're doing across all of the platforms, the first year, that 11-year contract, everything is up. and it's going what actually the NBA wanted to do by bringing in all of these different media platforms across there. They've increased viewership. So, you know, it's a mixed bag. These teams are tanking because of one thing. There is a lot of talent that's going to be in the 2026 draft. I mean, it's loaded. College basketball, that NCAA tournament is going to skyrocket. The NCAA, they have a lot of problems, but they're going to make a lot of money off of this year's March Madness because of the talent level that's out there. And that's why these teams are tanking. And it is shameful, Leel, because like I said, you owe the paying fans that, but it's not hurting the NBA as much as people might think.
I want to jump in there to respond to him, and then Mykel, you can have the time that you need, because it's one thing to say that viewership is going up because of the streaming platforms and whatnot. That's fine. But if we are seeing the same teams over and over again, who is really watching the whole entire league? Who is watching it to learn about the whole entire league? Adam Silver came out during the in-season tournament, and he talked about how he didn't like the broadcasters' delivery in regards to educating the youth about the game. He even came out and called the league, his own league, what was it, a highlight reel social media type of league? Like, how do you even come out and fix your mouth to even admit that, whether it's true, because it is, okay? But the fact that he even came out and called his own sport a highlight league, there's a reason why it's a highlight league. I don't need to watch the Jazz because they are ass. I can literally go on Instagram, okay, and watch a highlight, right? So again, the reason why your league is a highlight league is because not only tanking, right? Let me get this straight. A lot of people don't like the fact that these teams are playing the same way. You know, drive to the basket, dish out for an open 3-point shot. You know, people are bypassing, open layups for a 3-point shot, right? So, yeah, that's part of it. But again, there's a reason why you admitted to your league being a highlight league. And this right here is not going to help. You're going to watch and rotate the same teams, the Knicks, the Lakers. And the Lakers don't got no defense. What is a viewer actually learning about basketball? Not watching any defense being played, okay? Because they play the Lakers and they talk about the Lakers. A lot of this too is how the media is covering the game. They want to get political. You got people doing side activism and whatnot. The quality of the sport, as far as educating the listener or the viewer rather, is failing. And that's why, even though the views are going up, that doesn't mean the quality of knowledge is going up as well.
Real quick before you go, Mykel, I agree with you on that, Leel. But remember, it's entertainment, and you want to see Luka Doncic, and you want to still see Steph Curry, and you want to see LeBron, and you want to see James Harden and Kawhi Leonard, and you want to see Wemby. So that's the entertainment factor of it. But you're right, the game is not, in my opinion, even of a quality that it was, 20 years ago. It was just a better brand overall. But you look at these stars, and they're putting them on TV, and that's why they're getting those ratings. Sorry about that, Mykel. I just want to jump in there, bro.
No, yeah, and I believe it's always been like that. Like, I remember in the 90s growing up, you were watching Jordan, right? You watched a lot of Jordan. You saw, Shaq when he was playing with Orlando. You saw Charles Barkley, Dream. Like, the big names are going to get the view. I can't remember really seeing too many Sacramento Kings games in the 90s because they weren't as good. And once they got good in the early 2000s, then you start seeing C-Webb and those guys. So it's always been about the big names. But when it comes to tanking, I feel the same way. Tanking has been going on for a while. Just seeing it so blatant that way, that's when it becomes disrespectful to the viewer, to the integrity of the league, because it's like, come on, guys, you guys sit these starters and don't play them at all. Are the Utah Jazz fans complaining? Probably not, because if they can end up with Darren Peterson or Debansa or, Boozer, one of those guys, they're going to be like, hey, it was worth it. You know what I'm saying? We needed to take them L's. Look who we got now. But it's just for the integrity of the game of basketball. You don't want to see none of that. Like, at least try to hide it, right? If you don't play them the last, right, or maybe you sit them the first 6 minutes of the fourth quarter where you like, what's going on? Then have them finish up the game. Like, try to find another way to do it, but it has been going on for years because if you have a chance to draft LeBron James, you do not want your guys to be diving on the floor, going crazy and picking up wins when you want to try to get as many of these lottery balls as possible. So you understand that. And I don't think that it truly affects the product because going into the season, I would have told you, just like you guys would have told me, Utah Jazz are going to stink. And they do exactly that. They stink. My issue with the game of basketball, I've been saying it all along. And for a minute, I was blaming the players on how they play and the three-point shooting and like the coaching, not really running any offenses, just pick and roll. Like this is boring to see. But a lot of it is also on the officiating. They allow guys to travel. They allow guys to carry the basketball. They allow the offense to push off and things like that. If they allow a little more of a physical game, everybody loves the playoffs, right? It's a great brand of basketball and playoff time come because it looks more like if the three of us go to 24-hour fitness and we pick up two dudes and we go on the court and the hoop, man, we're going to be out there being a little physical and every point's going to matter to where in today's basketball, every point don't really matter because guys can be up 25 and they're still chunking up threes, even though it's the fourth quarter to where teams can easily come back. So I think that officiating is a big issue with the NBA. But as far as tanking is just going to be a part of it because you have a chance to allow yourself to get more lottery balls, right? You see it in football. You see teams like, why would they not start this guy to finish the year?
Don't go on the NFL, man. That's absurd. I mean, it happened.
No, you see guys sit out for the year, but not if they were in the playoffs, will play through their injury.
I mean, it's not like, for example, the Texans. I remember when they got C.J. Stroud, they could have had the number 1 overall pick, and they converted 4 fourth downs on the last drive to win a game that they probably wasn't supposed to win. Right? I remember the Jets with Sam Darnold, the old Sam Darnold, not the new one, the Super Bowl champion one, but the one that was trash. Right? They beat the Rams on the road, and they missed out on Trevor Lawrence. I mean, last year the Giants, right? They could have tanked out. They didn't, right? So. It doesn't happen as frequently.
How did their fans feel about that? Because I remember people.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fans may not feel good about it, but they're not messing with the integrity of the sport. You see, the problem with tanking, especially in the NBA, is it actually is proven to be effective, right? Which is why teams are doing it. Which is why Oklahoma, before they became this juggernaut, won the championship last year, they had sub 25 wins in back-to-back years before winning the title last year. Right, you had the Spurs, who it took them like about 6 years to build this type of team with these guards, these athletic guards, and Victor Wembanyama and whatnot to put forth a contender. Detroit didn't have more than 23 wins in the last 5 seasons before now currently being the number 1 seed at the top of the East. The 76ers trust the process and whatnot. I get it, but it's not about it being proven to be effective or not. It's about the integrity of the sport. We can't sit here and come at gambling and talk about the integrity of the sport when it comes to gambling and not talk about the integrity of the sport in regards to tanking. Now, I understand tanking and gambling may be 2 different things, but it still falls in line in conjunction in the book of integrity. Right now, these teams are not respecting the integrity of the game. They are outrightly tanking, blatantly, at least pretend not to tank. They out here not pretending. They actually doing it on live TV for the world to see. And to me, that's a bad look.
Other than Utah,
go ahead, Miguel. Go ahead.
No, I just wonder because I'm watching a lot of the top tier basketball teams, right? Like Indiana, Washington, Sacramento. Sacramento actually plays veterans and try to win. They just aren't good enough. Other than Utah, who of course what Utah did shouldn't happen. Like it should not happen. Play the game.
That's the problem. Some teams are bad. They trying to win, but they're not good. And then you got the ones that are trying to lose. Now you create a
other teams other than Utah that's kind of doing like a similar thing. I haven't really seen around the league other than Utah.
Yeah, tanking has never really won you a championship. The Thunder got all those draft picks by trades and having all of those draft picks. But tanking, you look at the process for Philly, it hadn't yielded anything. I mean, so this stuff has never really worked. But it's about the mentality of us as viewers organizations, it's all about the bottom line of winning the championship. And we'll sell our soul to win a championship. Load management. Fans don't care about load management. Fans don't care. The media does. The former players do. But the fans don't care. They don't care.
I mean, how would the fans not care? If I was going to see Jalen Brunson and Jalen Brunson's not playing, I would care.
If your team, let me say this though, Leel. If Wemby was coming to New York and he set out, and there'll be people who come to the game to see Wemby. I give you that. But if the Knicks win the game because Wemby didn't play, you're still happy when you go home. You're still happy that the Knicks won. That's the mentality of it. That's why people don't care about. All the thing people care about is when April 23rd comes around and they're in the playoffs, that's when they start to care. People do not care about the regular season, and it's been proven.
And that goes back to my point. If nobody cares about the regular season, you shorten the regular season. You give the regular season more value.
You're never going to shorten the regular season.
Why the NFL
money, man. You're never going to get that.
The reason why the NFL is king is because every game means something. You have a divisional game in week 1. That game has more meaning when you get to week 18, when it's time for playoff seeding and whatnot. If you want to make the NBA more valuable, you got to shorten the regular season.
Well, Leel, and I'm the biggest football guy, as you know. But in football, it's the same way. Why are they playing overseas? Why are they playing the Thursday night package when you give a person 2 and 3 days to get, that's an injury waiting to happen. It's about money, man. And with the NBA, they don't care. And you don't even hear Adam Silver talk about load management, really. Yeah. He might, because when the older guys bring it up, he says some things, but he doesn't care about load management. It is what it is. It's the playoffs. You got all of these teams. Hell, they might even expand the playoffs here as they add these 2 new teams. They're probably going to put a couple more teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to watch these bums in these playoff games.
I just think that's for me, that's the bigger issue is the load managing of your stars, sitting out these big premium games where most of your fans, maybe even the non-casual fan, is like, oh, wow, I'm hearing this is a big game. Let me tune in. And then you turn on and watch, and Castle, Wemby, and Fox is sitting out. That's when it's kind of like, all right, what's going on here? And we've kind of got used to it. So that's why people don't really complain as much, because it's like, hell, we've been screaming and talking about it on podcasts and radio shows and TV forever.
I mean, look, though, if Adam Silver didn't believe there wasn't a problem and the sport wasn't being ruined, he wouldn't go to as extreme measures as he's been going through to try to improve the quality of the regular season. He wouldn't have implemented this in-season tournament. He wouldn't have implemented the play-in tournament. The reason why the NBA is making more views is because they're expanding with the streaming platforms and whatnot. But again, it's like a movie. You can have all the great advertisement in the world. If the first flick is not good, and you can get all the people to come and buy the tickets for the first film, but if the first film sucks, the second film is going to flop. So yeah, everybody's coming to watch the games now on the streaming platforms, but if the quality is not matching the viewership, then come next year.
I know another issue, another big issue, right? In the NFL, the past 3 seasons, we were able to see one team in the Super Bowl for those years. Whether you hate watched or you were a fan, it was a big draw. The NBA hasn't really had that dynasty in some years. And that, I think the parity is great, but when you have that dynasty, it brings more attention to it because people want to watch them lose, right? Floyd Mayweather made all his money. He wasn't the most entertaining knockout artist that you can watch, but people tuned in because I want to see if he gonna lose, right? We haven't really had that star-studded team that was dominant in the NBA to really bring you that type of draw. The last team we had like that was the Warriors, and we saw what type of draw they had, but they've fallen off because of age. Then before that was
the rivalry. It's not even only the draws, the rivalry. They them and the Cavs used to go at it. There's no rivalries like it used to be. Everybody holding hands. But as we make this segue to this, go ahead.
This is my last thing. That's why I always, as a media member who covers the Lakers and Clippers here in LA, I'm always big on the players having to do more. I remember at a press conference, rivalry week, talking to LeBron, trying to throw him a lob. Hey, it's rivalry week. You got the Clippers, right, coming up, and you got the hated Celtics. And I was like, hey, it's rivalry week. Like, how important are rivalries to the NBA in its history? And you get the face of the league who's just like, oh, it's just basketball. It's just another game that we play.
I mean, it's
The
indicative
players
of
have
his
to sell
history.
it.
Going to play with
Yeah,
D
yeah.
Wade and Bosh. He ain't worried about rivalries.
No,
He
yeah,
worried
but
about
you
coming together and winning the
and
championship.
even JJ Redick here in LA, the Lakers Clippers, the players don't see it, but the fans is like, it's a rivalry. The Clippers are screaming, we're 20 and what 10 the last are 20 and 8 the last few years playing you guys. Then the Laker fans are back and forth. We got championships. So it's a rivalry on that front. But then you talk to Coach JJ Redick, he's like, oh, every basketball game is the same.
Right.
They're not selling anything. Back in the day, they sold stuff. Michael Jordan, I don't like Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons.
Yep.
I'm trying to kill them. I don't like the Knicks. So I just think the players have to also do a better job of selling. Make this WWE. You don't got to show us that you hate this guy, but come out, hey, I don't like this team. I want to make sure we beat them every time we play. But it's none of that. And that's why what makes football great, you know, these teams don't like each other. Chiefs, Buffalo, they don't like each other. Chiefs versus the Bengals, it's the same thing, right? Every team pretty much versus Chiefs, but then the Cowboys, Eagles, like the rivalries are for real, and the fans embrace that, and that's what yeah.
But plus, we don't have a great American superstar, and we've talked about this before, Leel. We don't have a great. When you look at the Thunder. The reason those ratings were down because look at the Thunder. They have a lot of foreign players on their team. Yeah. SGA is the superstar. He's a great player, but he's from Canada. And we haven't had that one player, to your point, Mykell, it was a great point, player and team to take over, to say, I love him or I hate him. Either way, I love him or I hate him. We thought Anthony Edwards was going to be that. He hasn't accepted that mantle. At one time, we thought Ja Morant was going to be that. We haven't accepted that mantle. Right now, it's Wemby. Wemby is the phenomenon in the NBA. Let's see if San Antonio can eclipse the Thunder.
Win. They got to win.
Team. That's the team that I'm looking at right now with the potential to become a dynasty with Wemby and those guys that they have. But that's the issue with the NBA. Last thing I'm going to say, Leel, you said something about the play-in tournament and the in-season tournament. That's all for money, bro. That's all that is. That's all for money, man. It ain't about improving the game.
The players say that.
Adding more dollars to all of the. That's why you got the $75 billion from all of your partners. That's all that was.
Look, I would say this as we segue to the last and final topic. Speaking of American superstar, I'm going to throw a pop quiz at you guys, and let's see who answers this, right? I know the answer, obviously. Who was the last American player in the NBA to win MVP and what year?
Oh, James Harden. Was it 2018?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Sports, politics, conspiracy theories. We are here to give you our unique perspectives on things happening in the world. It's the one and only The Real Leel on The Real Leel Show.